When I was a boy each week, Sunday we would go to church. We'd listen to my daddy preach. He would read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time that Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made water wine. I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still, but now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Said everything is a miracle. Everything is holy now. 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 Holy now. Wine from water is not so small. Even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. And so the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, I could barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath like I'm drowning in a sea of it. There used to be a world half there, heaven's second rate, hand me down. Now I'm walking with the reverent air. Everything is holy now. 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 Wine from water is not so small. Even better, a magic trick is that anything is here at all. And so the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush. She was singing like a scripture verse. Made me want to bow my head. I remembered when church let out. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Join us if you'd like. Everything is holy now. 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 It's holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. It's holy now. Everything holy. Everything is holy now. Holy now.
I don't know if I have anything to say now. Can you feel that when a word, a thought, an experience is embodied so deeply that it can be shared and it goes beyond words and beyond thoughts? Thank you for becoming your music and sharing it with us and creating that experience. So we here, the Consciousness of Unity Village Chapel, is on a journey of untethering our souls. Sounds a little interesting, doesn't it? There's a book by Michael Singer. It's called The Untethered Soul. And we're studying it in our 6-week series, and we are on the 3rd section of this series. Now, last Sunday was on experiencing energy. Experiencing energy, and in fact, infinite energy. Now, a lot of times we might have the idea that infinite energy is not around us, or we can experience the amount of energy that our lives just simply bring to us because this and that happens, and only when A, B, and C happens do I get to experience energy. But in New Thought, in Unity, we teach a different concept. We teach that there is always infinite energy, that there is a great, vast expanse of energy constantly available, always and everywhere present, and absolutely inexhaustible. So if we teach that concept, then what separates us from constantly tapping that source? Well, our beliefs about something, our beliefs and our thoughts. And those can be either a doorway or they can be a roadblock. So when we're talking about infinite energy, I ask you this Sunday, have you had an experience recently where there wasn't an access to a boatload of energy, and something that you didn't think might happen happened, and all of a sudden, there's a lot of energy? all of a sudden you can feel a lot of energy. Maybe you thought that energy wasn't available. Maybe you thought you were busy and you had a lot of evenings you were busy, a lot of days that you were busy, and you couldn't fit anything else into your schedule. And then all of a sudden, you realize that there's a lot more energy available than you thought even possible. All of a sudden your schedule cleared up. All of a sudden you felt infused. All of a sudden every shop in downtown Lee Summit and probably throughout the Kansas City area has time in their busy schedules to paint on the windows, to put in special orders, right? All of a sudden, a vast flux of energy came in. Now, do you think that energy came in for everyone? I bet you that everyone can feel it, right? Because if some of us are wearing blue, there's something going on. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about the World Series, are we not? And the Royals in the World Series. But there are people, right, that don't have a belief system or a thought system that triggered access to that infinite energy, access to that abundance of what wasn't there before, but now is vitality in the air. So, in fact, this is a demonstration and an example of how our thoughts and our belief systems shift the energy that we experience. So if it is this powerful to bring in energy, can our experiences, our thoughts, and our belief system also push energy away from us? This is the concept that we're talking about in this book. It's the concept that we have doorways and we have walls that we shut down energy, right? And we can constrict and restrict that flow. So would you entertain me for just a moment and think about the World Series and think about the Royals, and I invite you to close your eyes and just feel how you feel about it. And if you don't feel anything about the Royals in particular, feel how you feel being in the midst of all of this excitement. So just breathe into that for a moment and feel the energy. Go into the thought system, go into your beliefs, go into that experience of where you found that something that you really wanted to have happen, happened. Feel the energy of it. Feel your excitement. Notice where you feel it in your body. Take a moment to picture the World Series. See us winning it. Feel us winning it. Feel yourself in what it feels like to have that thought and to have that experience. Feel your thoughts and your beliefs around that. And now invite that energy of excitement into your entire life. Recognize that energy is energy, that it's vitality, and invite it to expand among us and bring it back to right here and right now. Good job. So, the two sections that we're in between this Sunday are the section on experiencing energy. Was that a good trick? Experiencing energy and going beyond. So last Sunday was experiencing energy. This next Sunday after today is going beyond. What do you think is in between? Experiencing energy and going beyond. One of the most fun conversations we could possibly have. The title is Freeing Yourself, and it's all about fear. It's all about fear. Have you heard anyone say this idea that fear is mainly a conglomeration of ideas and things that we worry about that never come into fruition? Do you believe that fear is a waste of your time? We are learning in this book that there is that we have two options with fear, that this concept of fear, obviously we know it stands between us and the vitality of life, us and experiencing infinite energy, us and experiencing our birthright and our true nature. But what are our choices here? our book tells us that what is normal is to take fear and step away from it, to push away from it, to try to get away from us, and to do anything we can to shut down in the presence of fear so that we don't have to feel it. And this leads to a certain life, this concept of having fear. Like who, if I sent a clipboard around, I almost brought one today, send a clipboard around, who wants fear in their lives? Like send it all around. Who's going to sign up? Do you want fear? Do you want fear? Just put your name down. You can talk about what kind of fear if you'd like. Check the boxes. But who wants fear? Who would sign up? Right. Who would do anything to like, oh yeah, that clipboard can pass our aisle, right? And that's what we tend to do. We tend to push it away. But in fact, fear is a portal. I personally have used that experience of fear and just called it energy because it has worked for me to identify it as intense energy. And any place where I know there is intense energy, I know there is a portal. Any place where there is intense energy, I know there is a portal. And if I take the courageous step to walk through that portal, I will in fact experience more of my birthright on the other side of it. But if I do the ordinary, and I choose to back away from it, I choose to not call it mine, I choose to try to get it out of my body, out of my field, out of my awareness, out of my conversation, out of everything, what has to happen? The fear is probably not going to so much go anywhere, but where am I going to go? The only option is to close down, to shut down, to move away, to back up, and that restricts the flow of energy. So we have a choice to make with fear. Why we can either work to release it. We can either work to release it. And that creates energy, that creates movement, that creates newness. And that creates courage and strength and power. And in fact, a demonstration of principle that leads us into a whole new way of living. Because we realize in that choice that we are not our thoughts, we are not our beliefs. And in fact, we don't have to experience things the same way the world experiences things, that something someone else would be terrified of can be dealt with in a different way. Did the master teacher, Jesus the Christ, not demonstrate this? Not walk through things that would cause fervent fear and walk through them with consciousness? That is the birthright of everyone on this planet. Because we know we're not born and we don't die, that in fact life is eternal. So if life is eternal, then all of this is something else for us to look at. Not to protect and not to defend this life, not to protect and defend these ideas. If I was born in a different time and space, I would have entirely different beliefs and fears. Can you get into that for a moment? Like if you were born in San Francisco, you would have a lot different idea in your mind right now, wouldn't you, than if you're born in Kansas City or you live here, right? Just takes a city, right? Just takes a city to shift, right? So that's one option, is to work to release it and to get energy and movement. Or we can keep it, the other option, and try to hide it. When we do that, we try to prevent things from happening. We try to control our environment, and we work very diligently in the mind and in our environment to create safety. Safety is an illusion, is it not? Really. Safety is an illusion. Safety and control is an illusion. And who has tried to predict what might happen in their life and failed? We could have a club. We can try to predict, we can try to control, we can try to define the parameters of our lives. But we can become very exhausted doing this and recognize that it is more essential, more effective, and more principle-based to work on what we have control over and where our center of power is and come from the inside out rather than manipulating the outside in. When we take that grand step of spiritual maturity into recognizing that truly my framework, my reality begins from this screen that is within me, all of life shifts and how we relate to life shifts. The issue with fear is that we call it a bad thing, but fear is just a thing. Fear is just a thing. I've personally taken the fear in my energy field and I've changed it and I've decided to call it excitement. Anytime I have fear, it's like, wow, there's energy there. Maybe it's excitement under the guise of some beliefs like I'm not good enough. It's not going to work out the way I think it is. I can't control it. I can't predict it. And so my mental faculties start saying, oh, that's fear. But in fact, if I can spiritually take a step back and say, that's just energy. That's energy. And now I'm going to take that energy, recognize it's there, and use my God-given capabilities, my divinely appointed faculties, and call it excitement. I'm going to call it energy. I'm going to call it excitement. I'm going to call it whatever I need to call it and claim it as so that I can use it for good, for the evolution of my consciousness and the evolution of consciousness around me. That's my divine appointment, right? That's why each of us were born. I want to share with you a few quotes from Charles Fillmore. In Teach Us to Pray, it says this: we live in a world where fear is taught as essential to safety. To begin with, we are told from infancy to fear God, and then to fear evil in all forms. With our minds crammed with fear images working night and day, how can we expect anything but the multitude of disasters that follow? Charles Fillmore. From Jesus Christ Heals, a thought of fear will stop even the flow of life in some nerve centers deep down in the body, forming a nucleus where other fears may accumulate and finally congest the blood concerned in some important function. He goes on to say that other remedies that we can apply in a worldly sense are just temporary. None of them has touched the cause, which is mental fear. When a body of water is choppy with fitful currents of air, it cannot reflect objects clearly. Neither can man reflect the steady, strong glow of omnipotence when his mind is disturbed by anxious thoughts, fearful thoughts, or angry thoughts. There are various methods of erasing fear from the mind and preventing its congestion in the body. One of the most effective and direct scatterers of fear is laughter, he says. Laugh away your fears. See how ridiculous they are when traced to their source. You know, there's an idea that in the experience of the Christ and the crucifixion, that the master teacher laughed. Like, take the body. If we're not willing to experience our fears, if we're not willing to pause for the portal, how can we expect to find the nucleus and recognize how unreal it is? To, in fact, laugh at it. To recognize that there is no reason to constrict around it, to try to control it, that in fact when we constrict and we try to control it, the only thing we do is make a mighty magnet. A mighty magnet that in fact resonates and radiates and says, this is the concept, this is the fear, this is what I don't want to see, and I just put it on straight on my eyes so that they are the glasses and the filters through which I experience my world. And it says, let me get this tuning fork, let me ding the tuning fork that is right here and show me where it is out there. And then what happens? Show me where it is out there, show me the evidence. And then I say, well, it just is. What I fear has come upon me. It is out there. It may be in here too, but it's out there and it's real. Because until I put on the lens of spiritual vision, until I recognize that I am a co-creator, until I recognize that I am a vessel of the Most High, and it is through these eyes, as Teresa of Avila said, it is through these eyes that Christ sees the world, that Christ feels, that Christ heals, that Christ does every bit of work that this divine consciousness that we call awakened and enlightened does, that it is here to come through us and through our vision and through our hearts and through the nucleus which we create, the nucleus that we create. And it is called to be a spiritual nucleus. It is called to be God consciousness. Amen? So I don't know if you've ever done this, but I did something fun this week. For our readings this week, I decided to just do highlights. And then I read through the highlights, all in order. I would invite you to do this. If you're in a sacred circle, this is a fun thing to do. So are you ready to hear a little bit from Michael Singer? Chapter to chapter, this whole section in one nutshell? Some of you I know haven't done your reading, so here you go. Cliff notes. You'll try to create a world around you that is predictable, controllable, definable. You'll try to create a world that doesn't stimulate your fears. Fear doesn't want itself. Hop. Fear is a thing, just another object, hop, capable of experiencing. You can do one of two things with fear: recognize that you have it and work to release it, or you can try to hide from it. When you have fear inside of you, the events of life invariably stimulate it. Life creates situations that push you to your edges, all with the effect of removing what is blocked inside of you, blocking the flow of energy. When you're in this state of disturbance, your tendency will be to act in order to try and fix things. You just want the disturbance to stop. When a blockage gets hit, here's a big one. Are you ready? When a blockage gets hit, it's a good thing. Let's say that together. When a blockage gets hit, it's a good thing. Let's say it again. When a blockage gets hit, it's a good thing. Feel your heart. When a blockage gets hit, it's a good thing. Like Michael Beckwith says, a bad day for the ego is a good day for the soul. So any bad day you have, hallelujah, amen, something's going on. Imagine if we transformed our days like that. It was such a bad day, and instead we said, it was a good day for my soul. It was a good day for my soul. Getting involved in the darkness does not dispel darkness. It feeds it. Illusion. Illusion number one. Getting involved in the darkness does not dispel the darkness, it feeds it. Always let go as soon as you are aware you didn't. Don't fall, let go. No matter what it is, let go. Real transformation begins when you embrace your problems as agents for growth. You have two choices. First choice, make sure nothing touches the problem, the thorn, the issue. Second choice, decide that since it's so disturbing when you touch these thorny things, he didn't say it like that, you need to take it out. There's a reason to spend your life protecting the thorn from getting touched. There's no reason to spend your life protecting the thorn from getting touched when you can just remove it. And then he goes on to say we should stop modifying our lives to avoid these thorns, to avoid the pain and the suffering. We can say it in another way. Stop rearranging, controlling, trying to create a predictable, safe life to avoid, instead of calling them thorns, to avoid the portals to our spiritual growth. I don't know about you, but I have a funny thing that happens. Admissions of funny things. A funny thing that happens to me is, and used to happen more often, is that I like to work on everything when it's not up. When it's not up, when I'm not triggered. And then when I'm triggered, well, that just happens. That just happens, right? When I'm triggered, maybe it's more like, hey, just let go, here I am. Now let me watch it, let me observe. Ah! But I love to try to work on it when it's not up. Second illusion. We can prepare all we want to control the fears, the moments, to set up our lives, to come to Sunday service, to listen to our meditation tapes, to read our books, to put up affirmations, to pray. We can try to set up our whole lives to not feel the fear or the pain or to problem solve mentally all of our issues before they hit us. But the one thing that will make a difference in our lives, the one thing that will make a true difference, is when we learn to pray in and pray up and become awake in the moment of being triggered. And to say, be in me a new experience. Be in me new eyes. Be in me spiritual vision. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on, because I'm awake and I get it that this is the time. This is my time. I may not have chosen it, but this is my World Series. This is my World Series, and you can bet I'm going to be there at that game. You can bet I'm going to play, and you can bet I'm going to do my best, and you can bet I am not going to look at the World Series being advertised in my face and say, well, I'm just not going to participate because I'm not interested, and that's not for me. Are we ready to play the game? Namaste. So let's put a lot of love in our hands and get ready to circulate our offerings. This is a grateful time for us. We in Unity know that when we circulate our good, we are an inlet and an outlet of all that is God, and that is our true nature, that is our birthright, that is our inherent destiny. So we engage in this practice with gratitude. Would you take your tithes and offerings in your hand? We will bless them with our statement together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
Is it your time or not? Woo! So this is for the Royals. This is for all of you who just were as inspired as I was to step into whatever it is. It's time. Tell me what it is you're waiting for. Who holds the key to your freedom's door? She asked, what is it you mean you need more time? Don't you think it's time? Time to be what you seek now. Time to love who you are. Time to want what you have, yet loving life right where you are. It's time. Time to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Time to live life from the inside out. Time to see things right, not waste time trying to set them right. Oh, 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 it's time. To let old tapes go, it's time to record something new. It's time to believe you can do all those things you want to do. Dismiss the critical voice inside of your head. Let the ghost be free from the closet and finally dead. Don't you think it's time to embrace what you once called mistakes? Take chances, try again. Oh, it's time. Don't you think it's your time? Time to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Time to live life from the inside out. Time to see things right, not waste your time trying to set them right. Oh, 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 it's time. Time. Oh, attention to what your intention is. Beware of where your thought lives. Speak your word, I know the power it has. We all cause what we lack or have. Yeah, we help create what we lack or have. It's time, don't you think it's your time? Time to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Time to live life from the inside out. Time to see things right, not waste time trying to set them right. Oh, 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 it's time. Time. Your time. My